Hey guys, a little bit of an intimate one in here today. No, I'm actually just sitting in here to be closer to the radiator because Sydney is absolutely freezing at the moment. But what I wanted to talk about is something I've noticed that's come up in coaching over the years, where I've had clients, that'll come back after some socials, a weekend away, maybe some meals out, and tell me I was really intentional. And first of all, I love hearing that because it tells me that they're actually thinking about their choices. They're not just operating on autopilot and they're paying attention, which is huge. But it also opens up a really interesting conversation because every time I hear it, it also makes me ask another question. Intentional towards what? Because I actually think intentionality is incredibly important. But when you have a goal, intentionality isn't just about making a conscious choice. It's not just about being mindful. It's about making a conscious choice with direction. It's asking, is this choice moving me closer to the outcome that I said I wanted? Because here's the thing, we can be present, we can enjoy it, we can make a decision without guilt, and that's actually a really positive, healthy relationship with food. But if the goal is fat loss, building muscle, or a specific outcome, then there's another layer to the conversation because we also have to acknowledge that every choice we make has its own cost. And I think this is where people often stop one question too early. They usually ask, was I mindful of my choice? But they don't ask, what was the impact of my choice? Because being mindful doesn't automatically mean that the choice you've made is aligned with the outcome that you want. It means that you're aware of the decision you were making. So the next step is understanding whether that decision actually fits within the bigger picture of what you're trying to achieve. And this is where context is really important because I am a huge believer in flexibility. I don't believe someone needs to live in a bubble to get results. I don't believe that you should avoid birthdays, events, holidays. In fact, I actually think learning how to navigate those situations is one of the most valuable skills that you can develop. But flexibility isn't something you either have or don't have. It's a skill. And like any skill, it only gets better with practice and understanding. And there's a difference between having flexibility built on a foundation and trying to navigate flexibility without the tools yet to support it, right? So I want you to think about it like this. If someone has spent many months or years learning how much protein they need, how to structure their meals, how to adjust their intake, how to track when they need to, how to estimate portions, how their body responds, they have built the skills to make flexible choices while still staying aligned to their goal. But if someone is still early in the process, they haven't built that awareness yet. They don't have consistency with the basics. They don't really know what their intake looks like. They aren't pre-planning. They aren't tracking. They haven't had enough repetitions yet. So for them, flexibility can become much harder to navigate within their goals just simply because they haven't yet built the tools to use it effectively. And this is the part people probably mostly don't want to hear, but every decision we make has a cost. So if your goal is fat loss and you choose a higher calorie weekend, that's okay. But the cost might be that your weekly deficit is smaller, or there might be no deficit at all. The result might be slower, the timeline might change, and that's okay, as long as you understand the trade off you are making. So the issue isn't making that choice, the issue is making the choice and then being surprised when the outcome reflects it. And this is why I highly value things like pre-planning and tracking, like for a good period of time, because they're good learning and support tools. Not because I think everyone needs to track forever, but because it actually removes all of this guesswork. It helps you understand your own patterns. It's giving you useful feedback. And it's also teaching you what different choices actually look like. Because then once you understand all of that, you don't rely on willpower to get you to the goal. And over time, that's where flexibility comes from, not from ignoring structure, not from throwing the plan away, but from actually understanding your body well enough that you can be in any environment and adapt without losing sight of where you're trying to go. So I guess the next time you find yourself saying, I was really intentional, I want you to ask yourself one more question. Intentional towards what? Because if the answer is that choice reflected the goal I wanted, then amazing. But if the answer is actually I chose to prioritize the experience instead, I want you to know that's okay too. Just understand the cost that comes with that, because there doesn't always need to be a right or a wrong choice, but there will always be a consequence. There will always be a cost. And understanding that is what is going to allow you to make better decisions moving forward. I hope this helps.